It is my pleasure to introduce Mary B Morrison. Mary B is a New York Times bestselling author of 29 and counting books, who writes for both Kensington Publishing as Mary B Morrison and Grand Central Publishing as Honeybee. In her novels, Mary does address social and sexual issues while empowering her female characters. I would like to go ahead and say, for starters, I hope you are doing well, ma'am. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for asking.
Good deal. Good deal. I don't know if you remember or not, but some years back, and I do mean some years back, we were actually under the same tent at the Sweet Auburn Festival down in Atlanta.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
In front
So yeah, so it was so that was really my first introduction to you in person, actually. And then from there it was like a lot of different books. I think it was either Single Husbands, if I remember correctly, or if it was under Honey Bee as in the Rich Girls Club, if I remember correctly. So I've had both you as Mary and both you as Honey as well. So it's been it's been fun watching your journey. That much is for certain.
thank
Um, my first question is more along the lines of, which do you enjoy more writing under? Is it under Honey Bee or is it under Mary B?
I actually enjoy both. And believe it or not, Honeybee is a little harder to write because it is erotica. And you can only do so many things, so many ways, right? So
Yep.
with sex, you have to get very creative so the writers don't get bored or, it's like, oh, I read this before. So I have quite the imagination, but it's a lot more sex in a honeybee book. So I find that harder to write because also with that, for anyone else who writes adult erotica, it's like, we have to incorporate a story in
Yes, indeed.
between all of the intimacy. So,
Uh, but
but I love Mary B. Morrison. The stories a lot of times just hit home with a lot of people. I don't know that when I start out to write it, it's not like, oh, I'm gonna write this and people are really gonna like it. It's like, no, I just write what the characters actually instruct me to do because they're always in my head,
right.
one book at a time. But I like both. It's just that the erotica is a little harder for
Okay,
me.
fair enough. As a fellow erotica author, I get exactly what you're saying. I mean, you're constantly trying to find different things to try and make it feel like it's not necessarily the first time, so to speak, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you don't want them to go, okay, well, wait a minute, I read this about 3 books back. What is your problem? That type of thing. So
Exactly.
I follow you on that. So that's definitely a trip as far as that is. Um, the next thing that was in my head was not necessarily the typical stuff, but what exactly got you on your journey? That's probably the most important thing in my head, because I know it's always an interesting story, no matter who it is that you're interviewing.
Oh, that's an excellent question, actually. And I'm going to pause for just 2 seconds to say to Lisa and to you and to Jeremy and everyone involved in making this happen, thank you. Because this is an amazing, and I just have to say that this is an amazing unity of African American authors together. And I came in early, so I enjoyed the reading tremendously. For me, what got me started, a relationship gone bad. I always did like to write. It was one of my favorite things to do. That's why I give 2 thumbs up to anybody who's a teacher, professor, instructor, whether it's elementary school, high school, college. Um, but it was a relationship gone bad. I said we were together 5 years. He said 7. We can't even agree on that. So,
Oh my goodness.
but it really was War of the Roses kind of thing. If we didn't leave each other, we're probably going to kill each other. And I'm just being honest because that type of love is so deep that when you meet your soulmate, it's like, for sure that this is the person that you feel you're supposed to be with. And you know how to push all their buttons, you know how to make them happy. And I am the type of woman, that's why in my book, all of the women are very strong women, no matter what they go through. Um, if you cheating, I'm cheating. I don't really argue too much. It's like, look, let's do this. That's the kind of woman I am.
Okay, really. There's that.
I'll get you. So he couldn't take that. I'm going to get you. So a lot of times we were at odds in that relationship. And it was just so crazy that I, like a lot of other people, feel like, the reality is off the chain. So I have to write the book. But I couldn't write my life per se. Some things are sprinkled throughout. I won't say which ones because I'm not sure if the statute of limitations have run out. Nobody trying to go to jail doing COVID. Oh my God. Oh yeah, I'm from New Orleans, so I'll get you. But that was my inspiration. I'll get you.
I get you. That's fine. It's definitely that. I know you've mentioned in previous interviews that Terry McMillan and Toni Morrison have inspired you as far as different books and that type of thing. What exactly kind of gave you that push when you were watching them doing what they were doing that actually put you onto the forefront of yourself?
When I realized Terry McMillan had self-published, and I heard her telling her story about Mama, her first book, about how she did it, and she was at work and she was doing all kinds of things like printing stuff, doing this, doing that. Just the fact that a Black woman had done that. So for me, it's like, oh, well, I can do this too. It's like, and that really gave me like a lot of inspiration to write and know that I would be okay self-publishing my book. And I sent out a few letters to a few agents, but I didn't waste a lot of time with sitting around waiting to see, the first agent, Andrea Brown, she was with Marie Brown, and she was like, oh my goodness, nobody's going to buy this, kind of thing. So I just asked her, well, what was the problem? She said it was too much sex. I said, okay. So the next agent was like, oh, hell yeah, I could sell this in my sleep. So that taught me that it really is about how comfortable the person is with your work. It's not always our work. So Terry was a huge inspiration. Toni Morrison, of course, the last name, the similar last name, but I'm not as deep as Toni. But her writing is always so thought-provoking. I mean, extremely thought-provoking. As I read through her books, it's like, okay. And she too had her journey. So to me, again, two African-American strong women in the literary industry that came before me, I just really admire them. And I had a chance to meet Terry and we exchanged numbers, and she's quite pleasant. So that was a good experience.
Good deal. Speaking of books, I know the most recent one I think I saw was Be Careful What You Click For. Maybe you can kind of give the audience a bit of an idea of where you were coming from with that particular novel.
Careful What You Click For. I wanted to do a book about online dating. A lot of people are online dating right now, and they're having different experiences. Of course, with my characters, they hold true. Everybody has money, so money's not an issue. But the things that they actually get into is amazing. So I balanced it out with 2 male characters and 2 female characters, and they're all equally interesting. Kingston has the toughest time or the hardest time because he thinks that this is easy, I can do it. So what? I have a wife. He left his wife back in another state in Maryland, came to Atlanta because he wanted to try this dating thing and he wanted to explore his other side to see if he was really gay or not gay. And I think a lot of men and women question that about themselves, justifiably so, because this society doesn't make it easy to quote unquote come out and be yourself. So he takes that journey and finds himself falling in love with this man, but he doesn't want to fall in love with the man, and he doesn't want to admit that he is, so that becomes a challenge. But when you are married, you do have children, you have other people involved. So his story is quite intriguing, and I really go deep into his first experience as a third grader in a janitor's closet. Some little boy goes down on him. And from that point forward, he's questioning himself. And then I have Victoria, whom I absolutely love. She knows a little hoodoo voodoo, and she will put a spell on you if you mess with her man and her money. So she's real interesting, but she likes to date younger guys. So with Kingston is Virgin Seeking Virgins is the website. With Victoria, I know Chancellor is Christian Fornicators. It's like everybody have their own website. So I was Googling these websites to see whether or not they were true, but everybody deals with their own challenge. And yes, Victoria likes younger men, and she's very comfortable with herself being 60 and dating men half her age. And she looks amazing. So each character, Chancellor is kind of, he's looking for love in church. So he done slept with half the girls in the church. Y'all probably know some people like that. But, you know, he chases behind the ones
I plead the fifth on
that. Yeah, so he's just chasing people and women that he can't have. And these Atlanta women will run circles around you, and they have a rotation and a hotation and all of that. And he gets caught up in it every single time. And, you know, they always go to bar purgatory after church, and all of them are at church. So it's a lot of stuff going on in church and out of church. And, you know, Chancellor admits, he says, oh, this girl, you know, her mom died and I sent her $1,000, and everybody just busts up laughing. And it's like, her mom died again? Her mom died every week. It's like,
wow.
You know, girls are getting paid here in Atlanta by any means necessary. So I love the angle, and I really did start online dating so I would have more experience with it. And initially I was disappointed. I was disappointed with the online.
In what manner?
The guys were nice.
Look, I gotta ask the question now.
The guys were nice. They had money. They didn't mind taking me out to the places that I wanted to go. Sometimes we went to several places in one day, and we just hung out and had a fantastic time. These were amazing men. I'm like, where's all the horror stories I hear about? You know, I don't know. It is my way of doing it. I just text everybody the same thing. Conversations and cocktails in Buckhead on Friday. Are you down or not? Look, because I don't have time to waste my time talking to you on the phone all day. So I want to talk in person.
Right.
But guys, for the most part, were incredible. But it was still enough information for me to really dive into the online dating process.
Wait a minute. Okay, let me backtrack a little bit. Did you say rotation?
Yes.
Yeah,
she said rotation.
I'm stuck back there on rotation and hotation. I'm like, wait a minute. And people in the chat are saying, I had to say, did I hear that right? And they said, she sure did. And said,
yes.
Who is this?
She said rotation. Yes.
Shannon Harper said, you know, she keeps it real.
Thank you guys. Absolutely.
Nope.
And it's no
problem whatsoever
either. In Atlanta, that's the way you get down.
Yeah, this is true. You have no arguments from me.
Okay.
So I guess the last question I have for you is, what do you have on the horizon? Do you have anything that you're working on right now, or anything along those lines? Just let them know. I
do. One of the things I'm really super excited about, and you know, I've heard Oprah say it, Rihanna say it, other people say it. And for me as a writer that's been writing for 20 years, 30 books, I'm on book number 30. And I know some of you guys probably have 30, 40, 50, 60, but I am ready to transition. So as we speak right now, I am going through the process of writing the Bible for Soulmates Dissipate. The Bible is what you pitch in your package for movie deal, film deal, television, for those who don't know. And I'm working on that and the one sheet for that. So I am super excited about the miniseries for Soulmates Dissipate. I'm ready to move to film and television. I've been in this space for a while now and didn't even think I was going to write another book, period. But I'm glad I did sign. I signed a 1-book deal with Kensington. And all of my career has always been 3 books, 3 books, 3 books. But when you know it's time for you to move up and move on, it's like, it just bothers my spirit. Like I kept saying, I need to do this. But with COVID, and nobody knew this was going to happen and this was going to come. So it's a great thing that I do have something else to keep me busy as well. The title of the book is My Heart Will Love Again. And it's really about Black people in America. I know some people find love and they have love, but there's so many Black people in America that just cannot love, no matter how hard they want to, is the experiences that they have. I mean, from childhood to becoming an adult, from being arrested and going to jail, which y'all know I got locked up. Right. I said, yeah, why'd I go back to the South to Atlanta? I'm 50 years old, getting locked up. Anyway, quite the experience. So now I can write about it. You know how we are as writers. You give us something, we're going to turn it into something else.
Absolutely.
With the world. So that's what I'm working on right now. And also for Sweeter Than Honey, we're going to do a Bible for that one as well in the Rich Girls Club. So I'm just busy and super, super, super excited.
Well, that's a good thing, definitely. Well, I think that I want to say thank you for taking the time with me at this time, to get in with this particular conference and definitely sitting down with me. I appreciate it.
Shakir, you're amazing, and I really appreciate it. Great interview. Thank everyone. Thank Lisa again and Jeremy. This is awesome. So how do I go back?
So out there,
so you say that again? She wants to go where?
I want to watch everybody else. I want to watch.
Yeah, you got to explain that one, because coming from you, that can mean something totally different. We kept the toys on that side of the room. I'm just
okay. See, we gonna start on it.
I can make you. I'm gonna put you where you're in the attendee room so you can watch everybody else. And your link is good all weekend. You can come and go. It's parking privileges, so you can come in and go as you please. So So thank you so much for coming. And we did post up the picture of your book on the screen and everything as you were talking, so everybody could see what be careful what you click for. And you also have a couple of other interesting books. Never Let a Man Come First.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, they're available on Amazon too. If you have Amazon Kindle, they're free to download. I just leave them up there for free because it's COVID and people need something to read. So for anybody who wants to download either book or both, they're there.
And they can, are you going to put the link on your Mary B Morrison page? If you can put the links for those books there, I'll put in there that people go over there and grab the link and go get it. So
I sure will.
Cool. Thank you
right,
so much. So I'm going to slide
you again, Mary.
Awesome. Thank you.
To the stadium, so the audience. Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay. All the best.
Bye-bye now. Okay. Shakir, you're on. So do you want to chat with us or you want to read a little something?
Oh, no, we can chat. That's not a problem today. I've got something in store for tomorrow.
Oh. Well, all right then. Well, we see that new cover in the background. That cover.
Yeah, that right there.
That cover though, I was like, oh my God, I saw that come through. Like, I don't know what time we was on the computer last night, but I saw that come through and it got me all kind of attention. I was like, that's pretty good. Love, Lust, and Beautiful Liars. Let me put it up on the screen. Tell us, how did you get started in writing, especially since there's not a big voice, a masculine voice in the contemporary fiction industry, the multicultural industry. So I'd like to hear how you got started in writing.
The quick hit, the quick and the short of it was I actually started doing, I guess writing was really back in high school as far as physical pen to paper. Before that, I actually got with my grandfather when I was well younger than that. He actually taught me how to actually tell stories orally. He would give me different books to read, and then he would make me do my own version of a book report, as opposed to just, giving you the Cliff Notes version. He wanted to know how all of the characters did what they did in different stories and all that other good stuff and whatnot. And that's what really kind of cranked me up from there. From that point, it was just a matter of my mom's an avid reader, my sister is as well. So we we've been, and then we're an education family. Majority of my mom, my aunts were in the Atlanta public school system for generations, quite literally. My grandmother as well. So that's always been a part of me with regard to the written word, understanding and being able to tell those stories and all that other good stuff. So that's what really cranked me up at that point. Of course, you know, like everybody else, life gets in the way. I was busy trying to play basketball both in high school and college, so wasn't thinking about writing at that point until I blew my knee out sophomore year of college. So it was, okay, now let's see what we're going to do now. And I dipped and dabbed and all that other good stuff. And then it just really cranked up, I would say 10 plus years ago. I was showing my wife some stuff and that I was writing well back in the day and that type of thing. And then she eventually said, you know what, I'm sick of reading you. Somebody else needs to at this point. So let's go ahead and put them on out there at this point. So that's really what got me up and running at that point.
Yeah. Let me put this up here on the screen. Tell us a little bit about this book right here.
This one was a romantic suspense. I've really started to kind of kick into that direction. I actually started it with In Service to the Senator, was more was the romantic suspense back 3 years ago, 2017. So I started getting that bug and I was like, okay, well, let me try and find something that might give me a little bit more of an international flavor. I was sick of being in the States with a lot of the stories that I was writing. So I felt like this particular story was really speaking to me. My protagonist is a weapons dealer. Happens to be one of the top dealers for both the Department of Defense and various other countries throughout the world. So he finally gets to a point where he's like, okay, I'm ready to kind of hang it up. I've done everything that I needed to do, and let me go ahead and see what is on the horizon. So he decides he's ready to kind of go ahead and turn everything over to his lieutenants, let them do their thing, and then we'll play and see, you know, we're seeing what we're dealing with at that point. Unfortunately, there were a few people who decided that they didn't want him to ride off into the sunset alive, in a manner of speaking. You'll find out who those people are throughout the story, of course. But what probably got me interested in this storyline more than anything else is that I spent very little time inside of the United States of America. I actually was I was on the African continent, quite literally the majority of the book. If I wasn't on the African continent, I was either in South America or I was in the UK. That was where a lot of the storylines do take place. They take place either in Johannesburg, London. There was some time in Morocco, Rio de Janeiro, of course, and then some other points, you know, all throughout as far as that was. But yeah, I had a ball with this one because it gave me a lot of the different elements that I've been comfortable with for quite some time.
Good to know. Good to know. So what's new? What's on the horizon for you? And if any of the other tribe members want to pose a question to our brother in the pen, that would be awesome.
Absolutely. The next things that I have coming up, oh God, it's a lot for 2021 at this point. I think we have about 2-3 different anthologies and or book sets that I'll be a part of in 2021. The first of which would be the Decadence erotic anthology that I have spearheaded within the tribe as well. That's coming out in February, if I remember correctly. Then, of course, I'll be jumping in on the paranormal anthology as well. That one is Evanescence. That one will be, I believe, the summer, if I remember the date correctly on that one as well. And then I'll be jumping in on the Queens of the Castle. I am definitely having a ball reading through with my particular queen and what she and I have been trying to come up with as far as that storyline is concerned. So I'm having a ball with that in terms of just that story developing. For those who are familiar with my Nubian Underworld series, I will be doing the book number 5 quite soon. So I'm looking at trying to hopefully get that done toward the end of 2021. So I'll have enough time to kind of develop that at that particular point. So definitely a lot at this point from that particular perspective. I got a lot coming through. Let me see what made me choose the erotica genre. Marseille, basically that was my launch pad because before before the whole 50 Shades of Grey phenomenon kicked in and all that other good stuff, I was actually reading a lot of books that were dealing in the kink and a lot of the swingers realms and all that other good stuff and whatnot. And what I noticed more than anything else was that there were not many of us, meaning people of color and Black people, who were actually writing in that particular genre and in those particular subjects. So I literally said, okay, well, ain't nobody doing it. Let me go ahead and do it. And that's what really kind of took off from there at that point. So it's going to be fun to see how that plays out. Goodness. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna have to scroll up on a few of these questions. Give me a sec. Okay. The young adult. Okay. My young adult project is actually going to be what is called the Southampton series. It's actually taking place in a fictitious town in suburban Atlanta. That one is literally a young adult paranormal series that I've been creating for probably the last 2 years, give or take. But it follows the life of a teenage phenomenon. Basically, his father was an NBA player back in the day, and he's literally following in his father's footsteps. But what he doesn't realize is that his father made a few questionable deals, so to speak, before he was actually ever born, and he is unwittingly having to deal with the consequences of those decisions. So I'm literally playing that out over the course of his high school career. The next, let me see. I see another question coming up on this in here at this point. My queen in particular. My queen, her name is Caressa, and she is the Queen of Asmara. The Queen of Asmara is based upon the Eritrean capital in East Africa. So I'll be dealing with a lot of what she's going on with regard to the business and the business that she runs. She's actually a chocolatier. And she has a billion-dollar enterprise at this particular point. But I'm going to leave it short at that point because I know time's coming kind of running a little short on me. But that being said, you can check me out at my home site at www.shakirrashaan.com. If you want to see my young adult stuff, that would be under PK Rashaan. That I'll have both of those links in the chat comments as well. So, and then you can always check me out tomorrow. I'll be interviewing with Miss Sakina Jackson with regard to a little bit longer conversation if you want to come through tomorrow night.
Understood. So I am looking for, and I resent the link. Let me stop the recording here. Hold